I'm Maeve. Today's Tuesday. Welcome to your Pocket News, where we're talking about a very big gap between two nearby continents, living with the rents and smoking hash. So let's go. So, what did you make of the EU-Africa Summit? Their first meeting in 7 years. An extremely important event to talk about the future of the second largest and second most populous continent in the world after Asia. In brief, President of Zimbabwe, Mugabe, came along, resulting in a no-show boycott by Gordon Brown, who in fact is in Afghanistan today. Among the 70 European and African heads of state, Angela Merkel made sure her voice was heard and had a go at the Africans about the humanitarian crisis in Zimbabwe. Although geographically there's not much between Europe and Africa, this weekend's meeting showed that our minds are very far apart. Heads only nodded on proclamations on the spirit of Lisbon and a post-colonial partnership of equals. So I don't think we can call it a success. Although you didn't see it in the news, an EU-Africa Youth Summit was also taking place in the capital of Portugal. 250 youngsters from here and from Africa made good progress on topics like poverty, eradication, gender equality, peace, migration and the Millennium Development Goals. At the age of sweet 16, your main priority is to put on your glad rags and try to get into the nearest disco. Politics doesn't tend to enter your agenda. So do you think we should be allowed to vote at the age of 16? Lefties, Greens, Conservatives, Socialists? Is it not all a bit confusing? Well, as it stands in Europe, 16-year-olds may cast their ballots in Austria and Germany. But this could all change. Last weekend, the European Youth Forum hosted young people from 13 countries to debate the theme. The latter, which is an umbrella organisation for youth in Europe, wants the voting age to be lowered in Europe. A debate that has been prompted lots of times in history. Back in 1969, for example, it was lowered from 21 to 18. What do you think? Should the current law be changed? So although at 16 you might soon have the right to vote, you still don't have full independence. Most young people today are still living with and off their parents till they reach about 30 plus. If you look at the 2001 movie Tan Guy, for example, you've got a 28-year-old grown man who hatches a plan to ensure that he can stay living with the rents, although they, and their fridge, are ready to be left in peace. Well, in any case, this is real life. And although it's mostly due to the expense of buying a mortgage in Europe, there are thousands of grown-ups still living with their mummies and daddies. According to the job search company Monster, 48% of prospective graduates in 2006 returned to the nest after graduating. Known as Boomerang kids, although most aimed to move out ASAP, the survey assures that only 6% have moved out since. And finally, cannabis, also known as marijuana, weed, blow, grass, pot, dope, skunk or spliff, is the most widely used drug in Britain. The mild sedative, class C drug, is illegal. If you're caught with it, you can be arrested, and if you attempt to sell it, you could be put behind bars for at least 14 years. But according to the European Centre for Monitoring of Drugs and Narcotics, around 70 million of us in Europe between the ages of 15 and 64 have smoked it at least once. And according to the BBC, smoking marijuana is just as popular as surfing the net in the States. So maybe it's time to open the debate again on whether or not it should be legalised. The Interdepartmental Mission for the Fight Against Drugs and Drug Addiction has just revealed some shocking, but not at all surprising facts about the money that one can earn selling the drug. According to the reliable source, you can pocket up to 550,000 euros a year if you sell from 132 to 308 kilos. Seems like the world is just going to pot. Well, that's all for today. Have a great Tuesday and I'll catch up with you again tomorrow in Your Pocket News. Bye!